Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we're doing a early impression on a perfume that was sent to me by my fairy godfather slash mother. And the perfume is a Roja Dove, and it is O, the Exclusive Parfum. Yes, that is the name. O, the Exclusive. Let me get it out of this. Let me get it out of this little Roja pillow. Oh, the Exclusive Parfum. Now, I've tried a lot of Rojas, and to be honest, O the Exclusive, H the Exclusive, H the Black Tier, you know, they're all discontinued and all this different stuff, and this is one of the discontinued ones. You can still buy it. There's still bottles floating around. There's a bottle, I think, on Javoy, Paris, for 429 euros. Grab it now before it's gone. 50 mil. Let me read you what Roja Dove says about this fragrance, and then we'll kind of talk about it. This is why I'm so torn on trying new fragrances. However, there is one very interesting discovery that came out of trying this, and this is a medal and award that most Rojas do not get, because another fragrance actually ended up copying this. And I own that other fragrance. Well, at least if they didn't copy it, it is very, very close. It's very similar as they start to dry. I like the fragrance I own a full bottle of better, but we'll get to that later on while we're talking about it. So let's see what Roja has to say about O, the Exclusive Parfum. And it's literally O, the Exclusive Parfum. And it says, O is an homage to a diverse and proud culture with an admirably strong identity. To bring this sensibility to life, a unique olfactive accord appears at first incredibly lively and exciting, and yet becomes something of great power and permanence. The term O forms a connection to the history of perfume and how the original Eau de Cologne, which was EAU, Eau de Cologne, was created in Germany. O lends its distinct freshness to this iconic style, and yet becomes something that is incredibly rich and enduring. Now, if I hadn't read that, there is no way in a million years would I ever have compared this to an Eau de Cologne. Ever. Never. You could have asked me to do this review 1,000 times in a row. Never would the words Eau de Cologne get mixed up with this perfume. So let's talk about the fragrance and kind of how it starts. So when you first spray, and I've got a 9-hour dry down on this hand. It's been a long day, and I'm still fighting this cold, and it's fighting me back. But I enjoy doing these little, fragrance chats so much with you guys that, this is the highlight of my day. I couldn't miss it, even though I'm kind of feeling under the weather. But this is classified as maybe like a woody, spicy fragrance, and it came out in 2016, and then it got discontinued. And it's one of these, it's not one of the purple caps, the special purple caps that Roja has. This one has a blue cap, which I honestly have never seen any of. I've seen some with red. I guess this is the one that has a blue cap. But the scent, when you first spray, it almost opens up with this slightly unpleasant, almost like you took a raspberry, a basket of raspberries that you bought from your local grocery store, from Costco, or wherever you like to shop, and you threw it in the back of the fridge and you forgot about it. And then, months later, you pull out the raspberries and they're all, rotting and kind of merging together, and they're beginning to decompose. You get a little bit of that. When you first spray, you get this slightly unpleasant, fruity raspberry, sat in the fridge too long smell. And the top note is actually bergamot. But what ends up happening is the bergamot mixes with that fruitiness and some of the florals. And because this is a scent that uses a lot of modern synthetics, luxury synthetics. I think they use high-end synthetics. I'm not saying synthetics are bad. I'm just saying that this fragrance uses a lot of the modern synthetics that you'll find in Roja's Middle Eastern line, you know, stuff like that, where when you first spray, if you get any bergamot, it's there and it's gone. It just is swallowed up by the rest of the fragrance. And that unpleasantness when you first spray, if that's their idea of an oud note, you know, there's a review I saw on YouTube and it was like 10 out of 10 oud fragrance. This is not an oud fragrance to my nose. I don't know if there's any real oud in this. I have no clue whether Roja uses real oud or not. If they say they do, let's just go with they do. You know, if they say there's real oud in this, there is real oud in this. Because they wouldn't lie about something like that. But if that's their idea of trying to give you a stinky opening, oud opening, I don't get that at all. I get this rotting fruit, you know, maybe with a slight hit of bergamot, but even that is just swallowed up by the Middle Eastern style synthetics. And that's what's interesting about this fragrance to me is, you know, you will smell a big saffron note. So if you have smelled, you know, other big saffron perfumes, other Middle Eastern saffron perfume lines that use big doses of saffron, you will definitely pick up that style here. You could easily be forgiven to thinking that this was a Spirit of Dubai fragrance, or maybe it was one of the Frederick Malle Middle Eastern, whatever they call that line, the Desert's Gems or whatever they call it. You'd easily be forgiven for thinking it's something like that. And so this fragrance, it is actually compared, by the way. Let's talk about the fragrance it's compared to, because you just can't get around it. After the first, it probably takes 15 to 30 minutes for this fragrance to really settle down, whereas the fragrance I'm going to show you that it is compared to just starts out like a rocket, and I love it from the get-go, and I love where it goes. I love the journey. You know, I think it's a superior fragrance all in all. I think it's done by a better perfumer. Whoever perfumed Roja's O, the exclusive, did not do as good of a job as Julienne Rasquinet. So the perfume that I'm talking about is this. This is Frederick Malle's The Moon. And this came out in 2019, which shocked me a little bit, because when I first smelled this, I blind smell all this stuff before I look at the notes. And I instantly thought of one of the Desert Gems. And so it took me a little bit to decipher which one it was going to be, but I instantly thought of the Desert Gem collection, because it also has Promise, which I love, Dawn, stuff like that. And once I kind of narrowed it down to The Moon, instantly my first thought, because of the history of Roja and the house, and you know, don't get me wrong, look at all the Rojas up there. Those are all purchased with my money. Mr. Dove did not send me any of those bottles out of his kindness or goodwill. I bought those, and so I could say whatever I want about them. And so for me, once, you know, I know the brand very well, and I know that they are not shy about taking inspiration from other fragrances when they create their fragrances. You know, they're not shy about using Chanel's Cuir de Russie when creating Great Britain, or they're not shy about using Bel Ami when creating Fetish, you know, or that kind of stuff. They're not shy about using Guerlain's Heritage when creating Danger. They're not shy about it at all. So when I first smelled this and it started to smell like the moon, I went, oh, they used the moon as a blueprint and they created something like this. And it almost felt like it was a nomad perfume. You know what I mean? Like they were probably creating a bunch of Rojas and they created this and they didn't know where to put it. So they did O the exclusive, because they already did H the exclusive, so they probably needed a name or something. But if you would have found this in your... if you would have found this in the Desert Gem collection, or they easily could have stuck it anywhere else and it would have fit right in my opinion. And so when I found out that actually this Roja came first, this came in 2016, and then the Moon came out in 2019, I was a little bit shocked, actually. Almost like I didn't know what to do. Like, you know, it was the opposite of everything I know about, you know, Roja's brand. So this Roja is a little bit of a special Roja. Do I enjoy it? Yes. I do think it's a good fragrance. Would I buy a bottle? No, absolutely not. Because I already have a full bottle of what I think is the superior fragrance anyways, and that's the Moon. But as the scent continues, basically, let's go through the scent, because I jumped the gun a little bit there. So when you first spray, you get that that decomposing fruit raspberry note, which maybe they're trying to say is the oud, but I don't think it is. And then you get this patented Roja floral heart that starts to come in, and it takes the fragrance 15 to 30 minutes before I really start to enjoy it. The first 15 to 30 minutes, every time I spray, the first 15 to 30 minutes, I'm like, I'm not sure where this is going. And then it kind of settles down, and you get that patented Roja floral heart. That's kind of like one of the things that I feel like they've made, you know, they're obviously trying to make a house DNA, if you will, but while they're making the fragrances, they're keeping certain pieces. They're not starting from scratch every single time. And one of the pieces that I feel like they constantly keep is that floral heart that I mentioned all the time. May rose, jasmine from grass, orange blossom, geranium, violet. Roja loves violet. And they keep that floral heart. And once it starts to come in to the mix, I really start to enjoy the fragrance more. It starts to add a little bit more depth to it, a little bit more roundness. It starts to, you know, some of the synthetic materials, and it does smell very synthetic. There's no getting around it. Anyone that says this smells natural, I don't know. Maybe it's time to explore some different natural smelling fragrances. But I won't be that guy that says your nose is broken. But to me, this just smells very synthetic. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I like, obviously you can see I like fragrances like that. I have a full bottle of the Moon. This is completely synthetic with, they claim real oud in here. And if they say it, it's there, right? So that is the first half an hour of the journey. And then as you get closer to the 1 hour mark, more of the base notes start to appear in O, the Exclusive Parfum. And what ends up happening is you get a little bit more of like the pink pepper. You get some cypriol, which cypriol is also a note that's heavily used in this series of fragrances from Frederic Malle. Promise by Dominique Ropion is one of the loudest cypriol heavy fragrances I've ever smelled in my life. I love it, but it's just a huge perfume. So there's cypriol here, there's saffron, there's patchouli, there's oak moss, there's cashmere woods, which is a fancy word for cashmeran. There's amyris, sandalwood, there's labdanum. There is birch. Now the birch is an interesting note here because you do get a little bit of that smokiness. Birch adds this smoky element to a composition. So it's like, you know, if you take the old bottles of Aventus, it was the birch that added that smoke to the pineapple, right? That kind of thing. And then there's leather, there's supposedly real ambergris and musk. And that's pretty much the composition. There's also elemi resin, which elemi can sometimes be described as like a more lemony version of frankincense, incense type note. So there's elemi, pink pepper, saffron. The saffron is definitely the most distinctive. But what jumped out to me smelling a bunch of these Rojas, you know, because I've got a whole bunch of these little samplers, and so you smell them and you kind of go one by one and you just kind of test them out and stuff like that, and one day you wear them and the next day you wear another one, and just like I said, they keep that floral heart from time to time. They also will keep big base elements. So this is a very base heavy composition, which a lot of Rojas are, but because I think they keep pieces of the composition, they keep a big portion of the base, and they just kind of change some things around from time to time. So there are other fragrances from this line. Like if you smelled some of the PDLN, Parfum de la Nuit fragrances, those are also very base heavy. And those luxury synthetics start to pop up over and over again. I can't remember the other one. There's a couple other Rojas that I've smelled that give off a very similar vibe, very similar. One of probably the most knowledgeable people I've come across in Fragcom, the Scented Devil, which if you don't watch his Instagram videos, I would highly urge you to do so. He is by far one of the most knowledgeable people I've ever come across. And he basically said that these kind of companies put out a luxury blob. I'm going to borrow that term because it works perfectly here. The luxury blob. The notes just kind of blob together into this expensive luxury smelling thing. And here, they do exactly that, but maybe with like a little bit of a Middle Eastern twist. So even though it's not in one of Roja's Middle Eastern bottles, you get that vibe. You get the heavy saffron, the cypriol, the raspberry. You get ingredients that are almost exactly in another company's Middle Eastern creation. And so it's going down that path, okay? Now, this one, like I said, is discontinued. But if you like those kind of fragrances, you very well might like this. I'm not saying it's a bad fragrance. I'm just, for me, for where I'm at in my collection, in my journey, spending $450 or whatever 435 pounds, 429 pounds equates to in dollars, works out to, it's not worth it for me. This is just, I'm just lucky to try it. I'm lucky to kind of put my thoughts on paper here and share my thoughts with you. But the fact that this came first versus the Moon shocked me. I was not expecting that at all. That was the big twist today. So even though this is not full bottle worthy for me, the Exclusive Parfum does get a little bit of a salute from me for coming first. There is something to be said for doing something original. And it would be very interesting if, someone like Julian Rascanet was the ghost perfumer of some of these Roja fragrances, but who knows? I mean, I'm not going to debate that anymore because we could debate till we're blue in the face. The hardcore, follow Roja off a cliff guys will come on here and start doing the whole be nice to Roja, and everyone else will take the other side, and it's we're not going to debate that today. But it would be interesting. It feels so close that if you said, hey, Julian Rascanet perfumed this, the Exclusive, I would say, yep, 100%. It feels like he took his formula here and he just took it to Frederick Mall 3 years later. And, I'm just speculating here. I don't know. I'm a nobody in the industry. I'm just a fragrance lover. I'm not a perfumer. I'm not an insider. But the composition is so close. Now, obviously, they could have put this under a GCMS machine or whatever and tried to figure out what was in it and copied it or something. I guess they easily could have done that. A gas spectrometer or whatever they call it. But it took me back. That whole scenario really took me back. I was not ready. I was not ready for the Roja to come first and then the Frederick Mall to follow so closely behind. Usually malls are completely unique, and I considered this completely unique actually until I got to smell this today. So thanks to my fairy godfather slash mother for sending this to me, for allowing me to try it. And if you have experience with O, the Exclusive Parfum, let me know. This whole distinct, O lends its distinct freshness to this iconic style. I'm almost wondering if we're even talking about the same fragrances here, because this is in that heavier Middle Eastern style way more than Eau de Cologne freshness. So it's, but that's why I like to put these up on YouTube, because again, if you've watched my channel over the last 6 or 7 months, you know that I like to go into this. But if you're new, maybe it's important to hear, that's the whole reason why I like doing these reviews, or in this case, an early impression. But the whole reason I'm doing this channel is because so many people do not give their honest reviews. They sometimes don't even smell the fragrance, It's really becoming a lost art to give your true feelings on something. And whether you agree with my feelings or not, that's a completely different topic. But, for someone to come up here and say, yes, oh my God, it's the best thing ever, I love it, that's what YouTube has turned into. And, I want to make sure that this channel stays true to what I feel about each and every fragrance. And when I put it up, when I put the review up, I know that I have given you my best thoughts and my honest take on that fragrance at that time. At the time that I'm putting this up, this is my true and honest take, and I want to stay true to myself for that. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you've tried this, if you want to help me see the channel grow, leave a like and a subscription. I think it definitely helps with the algorithm, but again, that's not why I'm doing it. We're growing organically, slowly but surely, and that's okay, even if it's 5 people a day, 10 people a day sub, whatever, 15 people a day. It's just, slowly but surely, organically, people are finding the channel. I'm hoping to do some more interviews in the future as well. You guys really like those, and I did as well. It was such a joy getting to interview Russian Adam and Al Manzano and stuff like that. And so, hopefully I can do more of those over the next couple months. And so we'll just kind of keep on keeping on. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you have any experience with O, the Exclusive Parfum, or what I was talking about with Roja using, taking liberty, let's say, with fragrances from the past and then creating his own and selling them for high prices. If you have some thoughts on that, leave them down below. I love hearing your thoughts, love seeing your faces in the comments, love all that stuff. So even though I was under the weather today, we got the video in, and tomorrow hopefully I'll be feeling better, and I'll see you again tomorrow with another video. Cheers, guys.